Peace and love, peace and love, peace and love. Welcome to Numbers Matter Podcast Unit 22. I am pleased to bring to you today Miss Kimbaley, Manifestation Mindset Coach, Metaphysician, Astro Numerologist, author, podcast host, and transformational speaker. Welcome back to Numbers Matter, Queen. Peace.
Peace and love, Queen. Guess what? I'm on Numbers Matter podcast number 22. That means I'm stepping on up in the world. I'm stepping up in the world, Queen.
So not only are you're stepping up in the world, we know that you're stepping up in the world anyway, Master number 22. And you know what? Like I said before this, the universe planned this out, not me. So I won't take credit for that. Because we know you're a master number 22. So that is so special that you're on podcast number 22. And I love that it just rounded out that way. You've been one of the first guests to come on this podcast. So it's only fitting that you're back here on podcast number 22 after you've been a busy bee. You've been a busy bee, Kimbaley. You've been doing a lot of things. And we know your birthday just passed and you were in your reputation cycle and you did something very special for your birthday. So I want to ask you about this special thing that you did for yourself for your birthday. Can we talk about this special thing that you did for yourself for your birthday called the Business of Numerology, an astronumeric approach to business?
Yes, we can, Queen. Yes, we can, but not before me letting you know that I'm appreciative for being here, being back on Numbers Matter. Thank you so much for inviting me back. It does something to me when I start to hear the bees in the background.
Yes.
But yes, I had the most amazing birthday. I received the greatest gift, and it was not a gift that I got from someone else. This is a gift that I had given to myself from a promise that I made when I was just a little girl. I didn't even realize that something like this would ever happen. But long story short, I became a published author. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Congratulations, Queen. Go ahead. Congratulations. I had to stop to congratulate you on that. That is a powerful feat that you have done. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. I published The Business of Numerology, and it is an astronumerical approach to business. So that's what made my birthday so exciting. But not only that, it gave me a whole lot to do during this birthday too, because it's been a process.
Yes, I could only imagine that it's been a process, but I think it's really poignant because you used your time so wisely leading up to your birthday, going through your 52-day cycle, and you really used that time to sit back and really, you made the decision on what you wanted to do, and you sat back and you took the time and you put the dedication in, and you produced a masterpiece, in my opinion. And I just want to really thank you for your contribution to the collective, because to me, you said that this was a birthday present to yourself, but to me, this was your birthday present to the collective. It was your birthday present to the whole Universal Supreme, because this is something that we all need. We know the times are tumultuous now, so people are maybe thinking about starting a new business or stepping out on faith. And what a better way for them to do that than to get in tune with the business of numerology, taking an astronumeric approach, which covers the physical and the spiritual qualities of manifesting and starting a business. So I want to thank you, Queen, for that offering to the collective, because that's what I think it is. And I want to really touch on what you just said about those bees. The reason I play those bees, because when we hear those bees buzzing, that lets us know that we're being productive, that we're being innovative, and we're working hard for the collective. And that's what those bees are. And those bees are also a message. It's a spiritual message to let everyone know, hey, we see you, we appreciate you, and you're doing a great job. So that's what that is. And thank you so much, Queen.
You're welcome. That means we got more work to do because we're still hearing bees. We got to get busy, Queen.
Yeah, you know what? We do have more work to do. And that's another correlation to the bees, because that lets us know that our work is never done. And we
Mm.
always got to continue to keep striving for perfection and striving to really create new lanes to help the collective, to help people move forward and just share our knowledge and our experiences with the collective. So thank you so much for that contribution. Now I want to ask you about the business of numerology. So you're a business astronumerologist. So tell us kind of what that really actually means. What is business astronumerology or business numerology?
Well, what business astronumerology is, to know that, you have to look back at astronumerology, and really you have to look back deeper than that. We have to look back to our universe, because everything in our universe flows in a cycle, and there's one of two things we can do. We can flow with the cycle, or we can flow against the cycle. And what we do as astronumerologists, and even those who are new to astronumerology and learning it, we learn how to flow with the cycle, because the universal cycle is just the macro of it all. But we are the individuals, so we have our own individual cycles. These cycles are determined from our birthdays, our birth dates, the date, the month, the date, and the year that we were born on. And it tells us, because each number has a vibrational frequency, its own unique vibrational frequency. So your numbers provide a signature for who you are and how you may react, and whether or not you're flowing in that. So we have to look at our business in a different way too, because a lot of us, we just look at our business as a money making machine. But
Mm-hmm.
instead, business astronumerology is taking the ancient art of numerology and the ancient art of astrology, and using that fusion to tell us about our business, because our business is more than just a money making machine. It also, just like we do, have an energetic frequency. Our business has a birthday too. And when we are able to flow with those cycles, then we are able to flow in harmony and to be more successful in our endeavors during our business operations.
Mm-hmm.
Did
Mm-hmm.
that answer your question?
Yeah, I believe you answered the question and more, Master 22. So I want to ask you now, what does it mean when we're looking at starting our business? How should we go about, picking, I guess, if you will, the date or the timing in conjunction with our own personal numerology?
I'm glad you asked that question, because that's currently what a lot of people do. When people decide that they are going to be an entrepreneur or a solopreneur, I know for me, well, I'm not going to speak for everybody. For me, the first time I decided that I wanted to go into business for myself, the most fun part about it was trying to pick out a name. And so
Yes.
I was just picking out names according to what I wanted this business to be about.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't even know that there's a strategy to it. So whenever you are at the point where you feel like you're ready to start a business, or whether you are already started in your business, rebranding your business, or you just want growth tools and tips, then you should start with the birth date of your business, which would be the incorporation date. That would be the month, the day, and the year that your business was incorporated on. However, some people don't have that incorporation date. And
Mm-hmm.
that's when I talk about in the book the conception date. That is the date that you first get the idea. The
Mhm,
energy is in the backdrop of what this business is supposed to be like. So
mhm,
you can use that month, date, and year. Or if you can't remember that, when was the first time you created an email for this business? When
mhm,
was the first time you posted on social media about this
mhm,
business? That
mhm,
will then go on to be the conception date. It's not as strong as the incorporation date, but it
mhm.
still has the essence of the business within that date. So you can continue to use that. And once you determine the month, the day, and the year, you get your business mission. What your
Mm,
business mission is for the individual would be the same as the life path. And what that business mission tells you is what the purpose of your business is, what your business is here to learn, what is it here to grow to do. And so when you know the purpose of your business, now you're not just creating names from out of anywhere. You
mhm.
may have created a name that don't even fit with your business mission, but now you know what your mission is. You can continue to align the rest of your business with that mission. So that's what business astronumerology is about, aligning with the sole purpose and the sole vision of that business.
Oh, I think that was so excellent, Kimberly. And I love the way that you make the correlation that the business mission equals the life path. I think that is very progressive and visionary. It's groundbreaking, forward progressive thinking on how to kind of correlate business terminology and business attributes to numerology and really be able to show that greater picture to the client to show them, hey, this is how this breaks down with the correlation. So I just think that's a brilliant way that you correlated that. So now let me ask you this to go further into to that. How do you handle then balancing, because you know I love balancing energy. So how do you handle then balancing the energy of say your personal cycle, and I'll just use in my terminology, if you're on the out tide, the tide is out for you, say you're in like a 7 personal year or 7 personal cycle, but the business is say like in a 1 personal year or 1 personal cycle. How do you then balance those two energies to make sure that you're honoring yourself and your business energy?
Can you repeat that again?
Yes. So how do you balance the energy of your personal cycle versus your business versus what your business cycle is in? So if your personal cycle is in, say you're in a 7 personal cycle, but say
That's
your business is in a 1 personal cycle for the business, how do you then balance those energies to make sure you're honoring your own personal energy as well as the business personal energy?
That's interesting because that is one of the most important thing that I do for my clients. I look at not just the energy of your business. I also look at your individual business, and it's almost like compatibility to see
Mhm,
how you are compatible with your business. There are some people that are very compatible with their business, especially if they're using a conception date, because most time people come up with things during times that favors their numbers. But an incorporation date, there's no guarantee what that date would be. So they may be out of balance according to that. So what I do is I go into deep research and I find out what is the best possibility for you and the business together. So if there is an opposition, and I think I heard you say something like this before. So if there is an opposition, then there may be something that that one person can add to the opposition. For example, let me say this because this might help. There was a client, well, actually, it was two clients in the business. One client, individual numbers, was totally in opposition of the business.
Mm,
However, the other client, the partner in the business, all of their numbers were in alignment with the business. And at first, I looked at it like, oh my goodness, this partner is not in alignment at all, you know.
mhm,
But what I realized is that it was the perfect synergy because during the
mhm,
times that the partner was experiencing oppositional cycles, the other partner who was opposed to the business birthday was experiencing cycles where they could pick up. And so it was like a tag team effort. So what
mm,
you do is you look at those oppositions and you find out the best possible choices. It may not be the best possible, but what's the next best possible so that you
mhm.
can get the best solution for the individual and the business together.
Very interesting. Very, very interesting. And I like that technique of, using that synergy to kind of tag team the necessary things that have to be done in business. And then, like you said, you can also use those oppositions to find some type of common ground. Usually, in the opposites, that's where the magic happens because you can bring the two polar opposites and then you can find the common ground in the middle. So I think that's pretty cool. Very interesting. So, since we're talking about the cycles, let's talk about the transformational cycles. You talk about transformational cycles. So, go ahead and tell us what the transformational cycles are and what are good things to do in those cycles.
There are four transformational cycles that you should be aware of. Every business should be aware of. And not saying that bad things happen in all of these cycles, but just saying that they are points of
Significant.
change.
Yes.
Okay. So the very first transformation cycle is the one cycle. Whether this is a 1 day, whether this is a 1 year or 1 month, it means that it's time for you to start something new. If you're in a 1 month, so you're going to look back over the last 9 months to figure out what are you going to do different starting this month. If you're in that 1 year, you're going to look back over the last 9 years to see what are you going to do that is new during this cycle. Not only that, this is a good time to launch things. This is a time to step out on faith. It may be something that you may have been afraid to try any other time. This is that time to be bold, and this is the time to really put that focus on your energy, on your business. And also, the one cycle is a cycle of branding, the personal branding, the individual branding for your business. So
Interesting.
that's an important part of this cycle. But the most important thing that you need to know is whatever you do in the one cycle will repeat for the next 9 cycles. So make sure that whatever you start new is going to be something that you want to be lasting. So the
Absolutely.
next, okay,
Go ahead.
then the next cycle will be the 5 cycle, and this is a pivotal cycle. This is a time where you may experience your business going through a lot of changes during this cycle.
Mm,
We talked about flowing with the cycle. With these changes, and it's important for you to, first of all, look at these changes and see if these changes are things that can cause improvement in your business, and be willing to adapt to and be flexible to change during this period. So this may be a time that you have to be aware if something totally different happens in your business that hasn't happened before. Find out what that thing is trying to tell you, because it's a period of change. It's
Mhm.
also a time for you to look back to that one cycle, because you're in the middle of the 1 through 9 cycle, and it'll let you know whether you need to shift and go into another direction or keep on the same path that you're on. The
Mhm.
next change cycle is the one that I often get a lot of people, clients, that say during this period, my business has been slow. I don't know what's happening. Things are really slowing down for me. I'm worried about the business. And sometimes before I can even look at the number, I already know you're in a
Mhm.
7 cycle, because the
Mhm.
7 cycle is that time where you should pull back. You should do something different during this time. So during that 7 cycle, it's not going to be as busy as it usually is. Things may slow down for a bit, but whenever we see this cycle, we know that we really need that in our business. So also embrace that as well. And I'm going to go into the 8 cycle. The 8 cycle is that power cycle. The 8 cycle is when you sitting in the casino playing Texas Hold'em poker and you tell them I want to go all in. It's the power cycle. And interesting enough, the book was published in the 8 cycle. Your book's
Yes.
published in the 8 universal cycle.
Yes.
So this is a time for you in business to step it up. The 8 is the business number. This is the time for you to go get it. Investment time, also launching new products, doing new things. And you might find that your business gets recognitions and you see achievements happening in and around your business during this time. So this is a very important cycle. I meant 5, but we're going to get to the next one. And this is the last one. And it's the last one for a reason. The 9
Mhm.
cycle says let it go. That's
Mm.
really the transformation. If it's not
Yes.
serving your business, that could be anything. It can be the prices that you're charging, it can be the type of media that you're promoting or what your platform that you're using.
Mhm.
Anything that is not serving you, it's time to let go. Even your
Mhm.
employees, even clients, this is time for you to clear the slate for the one universal cycle coming up. So all of these cycles are about change, but it's just change in different ways. The important thing is to know your business cycles, what cycles you're in, so you can know how to pivot during these cycles.
Mhm. That's so interesting. And yeah, so there's 5 transformational cycles, and I really love how you laid those out and how you put those, and those are transformational periods for personal or business. So, it's really interesting how this astronumerical approach really can show you the intricacies of, is your business at the right place at the right time, right? So I think it's really cool, and I think it's really a tool that everyone needs to have if you're in business, because it can really really dictate and let you know, like you said, if you're in that 7 cycle, it's not time to be all out there. It's time to be a little receptive and wait on things to come to you. So it's really just a roadmap. It's a compass to really allowing people to see what they should be doing and what they shouldn't be doing. So very interesting. Very interesting. And I wanted to touch on when you said about the 1 cycle and the 7 cycle and that 9 cycle, because as we know, there was that big fight of the decade. They're calling it the fight of the decade. They had Canelo versus Crawford, And it was so funny because, right before the fight, I took a look at the numbers and I was at a little small gathering for the fight. And I just went off and was like, hey, Crawford's going to win this fight. And the reason why I said it was because Crawford he's in a one personal year. He's in a one personal month. He's a number one person. He is 37 years old. So 3 plus 7 is 1. So to me, it was his time. He was focused. He was bold. He was innovative. He stepped out on faith. It was something new, really, with his career because prior to that, he wasn't getting kind of big fights like that. Then when you look at the other fighter, Canelo, which is the proven fighter, right? He's the proven guy. He's the guy he's got all the titles. He's got all the belts. A very great career. You know, he's on the other opposite end. He's a number 9 person. So the fight was against the 1 and the 9 frequencies, and then is in a 7 personal year and a 7 personal month. So as soon as I saw that he was in a 7 personal year and a 7 personal month, aside from the frequencies and all that, I said, he's not winning this fight. I said, I don't care what you're saying about how good he is. I don't care about all that accolade he's trying to do and what his plan was, because what people need to understand is we can have our own plans, but if your plans don't coincide with the universal plan, I'm sorry to tell you, but the universal plan is going to win. So the energy is always going to win. So, I thought it was interesting that you brought up that we talked about those cycles, and you said that those cycles were those transformational cycles. And look what happened. Crawford won, and he deserves it. It's his one personal month, his one personal year, and this is his time to start his new beginning and plant his seeds for his next 9-year cycle. So I just thought that was interesting. What do you think about that, Queen?
I think that's kind of deep. First of all, he need to be home meditating, Queen. He's
yes. Not out risking it all, giving up his titles, risking all his titles in those 7 personal energy.
No.
So you lost them.
But it's something interesting that you brought out in this, and I'm just thinking of this. One thing we haven't discussed yet is the incorporation as a business and the personal brand. So when you're looking at his numbers, even though you feel like, I'm looking at an individual's numbers, but his numbers are not just his individual numbers, because his name, what did you call him? What's his name?
Canelo.
Okay.
Crawford.
Okay. So when you call those names, that represents the business. Right. So really you're decoding not just the individual frequency, you're really decoding the business. And that's why I like the personal brand, because really you're really
one in one.
Yeah.
It's like that personal energy factor number 9. You're always in lockstep with your business. So it's like some people are always in lockstep with the universal cycle. Some people, when it's a personal brand, I guess, they're always in lockstep with the business. So tell me, so that is interesting. So to me, do you think that that's the best way to do it?
This is how I look at it, and this is how I call it. It depends on the particular business. For most people that are consultants, influencers, content creators, and I say one good reference point is if people know you by your name. Say, for instance, people know me as Kimbaley. When I go around and I'm on other platforms, I'm called Kimbaley. But if I had a business, let's just say that business is Manifest on Purpose. If I have a business name, and every time I would go somewhere, they say, if you would have said today, please welcome Manifest on Purpose, then the name Manifest on Purpose, that's tied to the business. However, when people are calling you more than they're calling the business name, much more than they're calling the business name, that means you're tied to a personal brand. So just like with P. Diddy, I remember when all of that stuff first started going down. So I
Mhm.
looked at all of these businesses he has because it's just amazing of how many businesses are listed under his name. However, when we think about it, we don't go around and say, um, Combs Enterprises. No,
Right.
we say P. Diddy. You know,
Right.
so he is the face of the business. So your personal brand is the face of the business. So
Okay.
that's the difference between the personal brand and having a business as an incorporation.
That's interesting. That's interesting. I like that. Well, I think, a lot of times, especially with athletes, because, I'm big into doing like the sports numerology and stuff. So I think with the athletes, I'm going to have to take a page out of your book and look at the personal branding and really start applying more of that to when I'm doing my sports breakdown.
Yes, because that is the business. They are the business.
Yeah. So looking at that, you can really tell, hey, are they in alignment with the team that they're with? Are they in alignment with the day that they're playing on with the other team? What's the opposition with that? So I think it's really interesting. There's so many different ways that you can kind of do it and approach it. And now that you mentioned manifest on purpose, I want to talk about that a little bit because manifest on purpose is one of your podcasts. So talk about manifest on purpose a little bit and talk about the direction that you've gone with manifest on purpose this year.
Oh, Manifest on Purpose has just been through a whole lot of changes.
Yes.
So I've been doing things that I have not done before, and it's
Mhm.
been kind of interesting and unique to me. But I've
Mhm.
always been the type, number four, is I just flow with it. I just flow
Yes.
with what the universe says. If I feel led to do something, then I'll do it. But if I don't feel led to do it, then I'll change. That's Uranus. It can change up at any time. So,
Yes.
yes, I am there putting out content, and I do let some of the other things that I love doing, like reading the oracle cards and stuff like that, come out. But Manifest on Purpose is consistently going through stages of change and
Mhm.
evolution. But the interesting thing about it is Manifest on Purpose is a five.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool because that's
And
and
they
that's good for you because you're 4, so you get along with the 5. So that's I can see that.
and I did not know this prior to numerology, but
Mhm.
the date is actually on January the 14th.
Wow.
So that would be because it's been through so many transformations, and as I just got finished talking about, five is one of those transformative numbers. And so over the duration of the podcast, because I think in 2020, 2021 was when the podcast started, there's been
Mhm.
so many changes, and
Mhm.
there will be so many more
Right, right.
because things are going to get bigger. Things are going to be
Mhm.
bigger.
Well, things are definitely getting bigger for you, especially this year. I think it's brilliant that you're in a three personal year and you've put out a book. So that's very indicative of a three personal year, doing something creative and writing, and expanding your brand. This can really help to expand your brand and really give you different avenues and different pathways that have different types of workshops and different things that you can do, extracting, the knowledge from the book and turning those things into that. So I think it's very, great that you've done that in this year. So you've really honored your personal energy this year. So kudos to you on that. And again, congratulations on the book. I mean, I think it's a fabulous book. I think it's very much needed because, we are the astronumerologists of the 21st century. So it's up to us to expand the science. It's up to us to continue the study and continue to patterns and continue to build and make contributions to the science so we can continue to study those things and test them out and make sure that they work and how they interact with different things. So I just really think it's great that you're doing that, because this is how we keep it alive, and this is how we keep it alive, by honoring it in its ancient form, by also modernizing it, right? Modernizing it and bringing it into the 21st century, and making it lucrative for the things that we're going to be facing coming up in this new era that we're embarking on.
Thank you so much for those beautiful words. And you said it right. I think it is important. I feel like it is important at this time. We are growing, we are becoming more modern. And one thing that I discuss in the book is it's important for us to notice information, but you can have all of this information in the world that you have, but until you activate this information, it won't do anything for you. So I know a lot of people probably feel like, well, I know my numbers, I'm good, but how often are you practicing it on a daily basis? And it
Mhm.
doesn't even have to be on a daily basis, but how often are you consciously aware of it?
Mhm.
And that's one thing that I learned when exploring business astronumerology. Like, it's right there in our face. And I'll tell you, there was one situation leading me up into writing the book. I don't watch a whole lot of television, but I just so happen to love documentaries. And I watched a documentary about Amazon, which is amazing because I was just like doing a case study on Amazon and I didn't get it because I was like, no, the numbers don't match. The name number
Mhm.
doesn't match with
Mhm.
their colors. And I happened to see that documentary and I saw the number of name changes that
Mhm.
Amazon had over a period of time. And
Mhm.
the very first name that they had, they were using the colors, the colors was coming from that vibration instead of just Amazon as we knew it. So it was very funny. The very first name for Amazon, and I thought this was kind of funny, was Cadaver.
Oh, cadaver, like a body cadaver?
That's why they changed it.
Yeah, that's a good change in hindsight. They made the right move by changing it. Now let me ask you, because you said that was interesting. So as a business numerologist, would you have had them change their colors to match the new name change?
Yeah, because it would have been in alignment.
Mm-hmm.
It would have been in alignment with it would have, yeah, it would have been in alignment, and maybe they could have done better. They did pretty good when they
Mm-hmm.
did change the name. They did pretty good, but
Mm-hmm.
if they would have had it in alignment with what the name ended up being, then it probably would have been much better and probably would have been like, who could even think about Amazon being much better? But I mean, imagine the flow and the harmony going through the business. And it doesn't mean that the business won't succeed either,
Mm-hmm.
because let me tell you another thing that happened in the documentary. Um, in trying to get the business off the ground, he faced a whole lot of problems with staff member and things of that nature. So that imbalance in the name was probably an imbalance in the people that he attracted to the business, because the name lets you know who you attract to the business. So it doesn't necessarily mean that the company is not going to be a success. But when I look at the name is going to tell me who you attract. So that means the people that you attract into your business may not be in alignment with the personal energy of the business.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. So tell me, like, if a person was going to go start a business, what is one of the main pieces of advice that you would want to tell someone that they should kind of look out for in the idea of business Astronumerology, what's kind of the first thing that you can kind of give them to kind of look for when they go to start their business?
The very first thing is I like to let people know that you have to change the way you look at the business. You have to look at the business as it's living and breathing, it's energy
Mhm,
flowing. And that, when you make that shift in your mindset, it makes a big difference.
mhm,
And if a person has not named their business yet, one of the things that I talk to them about is making sure that they find a name that's in alignment with them and with the business purpose. And I feel like the foundation, which is knowing your business numbers, is the most important thing. Once you
mhm,
know your business numbers, the next important thing is to know the cycles your business are moving through. So,
mhm,
first, make sure that on a foundational level, you understand your business and you understand your business through your business's birthday.
mhm.
And once you can understand what your business is and what the purpose is, because that purpose is going to change everything about your business. Because you may thought that you're building this business to do one thing, but the
Mhm.
universe says, no, this business is here to do this. So you have to flow in line with what the universe say. And then the next important thing would be your time and cycles, knowing when to go and knowing when to stop, knowing when to fall back.
Excellent, excellent. I love it. Very great sound advice. And I think this is very useful. This is something very useful for the collective. Again, we're in tumultuous times, and this is, and next year we're heading into a one universal year. So I like the way that you frame that. You might think the business is for this or going this way, but the universe might be nudging you and showing you, hey, no, this is what you thought, but this is actually what I was intending for you to do with this business, right? So, no time like next year going into that one transformational transformational cycle, like you just broke down for us, that this is a cycle that all of us should be stepping out on faith, planting our seeds for our next cycle and really being innovative in business, whether that's through getting a promotion or stepping out on your own and starting that business. So, all of this information can help you whether you're starting a business or whether even if you work somewhere. Because even if you work somewhere, you can look at your energy with the place that you work to kind of see, hey, do I fit here? Should I be here? Is this why I'm having issues here? Or is this why I do great here? And then you can kind of hone in on those cycles. So I think that's really interesting and it's perfect timing. This book has come out in perfect timing for the one universal year that we have coming up next year. So, you guys, if you want to step out on faith and use the universal energy next year to do that, you definitely need to get with Kimbaley and make sure that you're looking at your business ideas. She does offer a free 30-minute consultation, but it's serious inquiries only. Please come serious and ready to speak and not to go over her time also. And then once you get that great information, that's going to give you a good foundation on what you need to do. And then you can even go further with Kimberly and book a full business astronumerology profile reading with her to make sure that that business that you're starting in this new one universal year that we have coming up, 2026, you guys, next year, this is paramount for this. This is paramount. And you can contact Kimberly by visiting her at her website at kimbaley.com, where you can purchase the book. You can book a reading with her. You can book that 30-minute session I just spoke about. And you can also get like manifestation things that she has for like your manifestation pre-records and all that kind of stuff up there. So it's really cool, very interactive, beautiful website. So make sure you guys check her out there and make sure that you're following her and are subscribed to her on YouTube at Kimbaley _ where she does her Manifest on Purpose podcast. I called it a podcast. I call them all now, where she does her Manifest on Purpose podcast and her astronumerology reveal, which I want to ask you about. So let's talk a little bit about astronumerology revealed. So the show is doing so great. I want to congratulate you on that too, because that's something also you expanded into this year. Like I said, you've been so busy this year using that energy in your 3 personal years so well. So how are things going with astronumerology revealed? I know I was just a guest on the show, so I think I'm the latest episode that's up. So if you guys missed that, I was on there talking about the balancing elemental energy, reflection journals, and astronumerology, of course, the stuff that me and Kimbaley love talking about. And but how's that going? And any transformations or changes in store for us for astronumerology revealed?
I'm not sure about transformation, but I know that I will be doing a lot of talking about business astronumerology because it's
Yes,
a concept that not a lot of people, know about. And so it's
yes,
something that I'm sure that I have to teach other people. So
yes,
that is where I'm going to do that. But astronumerology revealed is like my place of comfort. That's where I
yes,
love to be because I love to talk about the deeper side of life and the deeper metaphysical things. And yes, Queen is up there. And don't let her fool you. She's been up there before too. So make sure when you check out the most recent one, you check out some of her other videos. So it's
yes.
very cool. Yes, and that's the only change that I foresee for astronumerology reveal. I just needed compartment to hold all of the astronumerology stuff.
Yes, absolutely. And I'm glad you said that because it's so funny because we are so multifaceted and multidimensional, and we really have a lot of things that we do, and a lot of them do correlate and interconnect with each other. But some of them, you want to keep kind of like you want to keep all of this kind of stuff in this compartment, and you want to kind of, and it can meet in the middle where it needs to, right? So I think that's brilliant that you've found that within your platform to be able to do that. And I love the idea of you really bringing forth your groundbreaking concepts in business astronumerology to astronumerology revealed. It's a brilliant way to kind of segue teaching it and really getting it more exposure to the collective and just getting the word out there and letting people know, hey, we're going into a one universal year. You want to start your business? Hey, we have a whole system that can help you succeed in your business, not just physically in the material world, but also spiritually and making sure that you're aligned spiritually with the universe and with your personal energy. So I think it's great, Queen. Congratulations again to you. Kudos to you. And I'm so happy that you were able to come back to Numbers Matter because just like you said, I'm up there, you up here too. So we got like two or three. Like I said, we're in this together. We're in this
We're
together.
tag teaming.
Yes, we're tag teaming, and I couldn't be more happy and more proud for you, and just grateful for our bond and for our energy. That, like you said, we just said on the other show, our energy is so similar. We really kind of think the same way, and we're only born 2 days apart. So, I mean, it's really
Don't make me cry,
fascinating.
Queen. Okay,
It's really
don't.
fascinating. No, I'm the crier. You're not allowed to cry. If any crying's gonna happen around here, it's gonna be me.
Thank you
So
so much.
no, yeah, but I'm really thrilled for you, Kimberly, and this is really a great way for you to, come out, guns blazing in your 3 personal year, because you know what that means now next year. You got to
Well,
put the work in with all of this. Like you said, those classes, teaching, workshops, getting people ready for that 1 personal year. So that one universal year next year with your 4 personal year, it's all you. You got them sun numbers. It's time to be creative, innovative, and put the work in and teach your course and teach your classes and put your stuff together. So I'm proud of you.
I thought, thank you so much. Thank you so much. And I feel the same way. I'm so glad for our bond and being able to reach out and motivate each other.
Yes.
I mean, that is awesome, just to be able to say, I'm proud of you,
Yes.
So yeah, that means a lot.
Thank you. And the way that we say that around here is Queens up. And we're two queens that are queens up this year. You know, we understand our power, our position, and our purpose. I think this year, you know, more than any previous years, if, you know, if I have the freedom to say that about myself and you. You know, I think this is the year that we really do understand those things about ourselves. So I really just think that it's magnificent that we're both stepping into that and really just taking it by the horns and doing what we got to do and staying steadfast and, like you said, supporting each other and keeping each other honest and making sure, checking up a queen, did you get that chapter finished? Queen, did you, you know, making sure that we're doing that. And when we do finally complete whatever projects it is we're working on, the support that we show, your slots open. You know, our slots are both open on each other's show. So this is what we got to do, you guys. This is the collective. This is, you know, I'm a life path 9. She's an 11. So, you know, we are here to uplift the collective through our visions and through our creations.
I
So I'm
didn't
just so happy.
realize it's 9/11.
Yeah, we're 9/11.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Look, that's a whole nother thing we can uncover on a whole nother show, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
it really is. And it's really interesting, the dynamic. So it's really interesting. I think it's so funny that a lot of the life paths kind of congregate just how the numbers congregate. Like, so like if you're in a room filled with people, all the number 2s are kind of together, you know, you might have some number 4s right next to them in their little group. You know what I mean? And the life paths are no different. The life paths do the same thing. They seek each other out, the one above or the one below or the one that can help them.
You know what's interesting about that? Most of the businesses that I attract are number 11 business mission numbers.
See?
So that's the same thing as 11 life paths. So
Yes. Yeah. So they're here to teach you something and you're here to teach them something. So it's an even exchange, fair exchange, no robbery. And, you know, it's really just us supporting one another in our collective goal, in our collective spirit. So I just think it's amazing. And that's why numbers matter, you guys. That's why we do this. Astro numerology matters. Business astro numerology matters. So I want you guys to make sure that you go subscribe to Kimbaley on her YouTube. Make sure that you go visit her website so you can take a closer look at her book. You can purchase the book on the website. It's a beautiful book, very, very beautifully made aesthetically, and it's filled with so much knowledge, wisdom, and information that can really, really help and guide you and really help you to get on the road to success for your business. So make sure you support this queen. And I just want to thank you again, Queen, so much for being on my platform. Anything else you want to say before we close out?
yeah, just briefly, I just want to say we all see how things are going in society today. So I'll just tell you how my grandfather used to say, God bless the child that God is on. If your business will take care of you if you take care of your business. And in order for you to take care of your business, you have to make sure it's in alignment. Make sure that you're booking that 20-minute discovery call to find out more. Get the book. The book goes into detail. That can be a source of help for you. But whatever you do, don't just throw everything all together and think and pray that everything's going to work out fine. Make sure you put some strategy behind it. Use the power of the stars.
That's right. Use the power of the stars and the vibrations of the numbers.
Oh
And
yeah. See, when I need her, she's right there.
you know it, Queen, always and forever. And I want to say thank you so much, Queens and Kings up to the nation. This has been Numbers Matter podcast unit Master Builder 22 with the Business of Numerology and astronumerological approach to business with none other than the Queen, manifest on purpose, astronumerology revealed, Kimbaley. Peace and love, Queen.
You.
Queens up in your hood because it's essential. Triple the investment, stocks and bonds, build a nest egg. Comfortable life, seed safe at the rest place.